There's a bomb on a bus. Once the bus goes 50 miles an hour, bomb is armed. If it drops below 50, it blows up. What do you do? What do you do?
Hello there, welcome to Bryan Lomax Movie Talk and my review of Speed. This is a film from 1994 and quite frankly, in my mind, one of the best action films of all time. I was checking out the grade for this on IMDb and it's got like a 7.2, which I think personally is criminally underrated. This is better than a 7 out of 10. Die Hard, for me, is kind of like the pinnacle of action movies, just pure action. And this is up there with it. As far as I'm concerned, Speed is on a level playing field with Die Hard. I know some people will think I'm smoking crack for talking that, but seriously, I think this film is that good. It's a really good action film, just first and foremost. The action in it is absolutely brilliant. The concept from the script by Graham Yost is just absolutely blinding. It's one of those concepts where when it first came along, you kind of thought, why on earth didn't someone come up with this sooner? It's such a simple concept, yet so effective. And it's brilliantly mapped out, like I say, by Yost's screenplay. The way he plays with it, plays with that concept, the way he gets mileage from it, excuse the pun, it is just brilliant. It's genius as far as I'm concerned. But not just that he finds ways within the script to get genuine, heartfelt moments that mean something, moments that say something about the human condition. There's one moment in particular where Sandra Bullock's character, she's just seen this woman kind of get blown out of the bus. Dennis Hopper's villain basically hits the button, blows the floor out in this one section of the bus, and this woman goes under. And there's a moment afterwards when Sandra Bullock's character talks about that and how she felt about it, and the survivor guilt kind of comes out instantly. Like, in that moment she thought that was it. She thought the bus was going to go, they were all dead, and when it didn't, when she realised it was just that one woman, she was relieved, and she breaks down as a result of that. And I love Bullock's reaction. I love the way she plays it. I think this is one of the best performances of her career, honestly. It makes all the action, the ridiculousness of everything going on around them, the over-the-top situation, feel all that more real. All of the cast in this is great, of course. I do think Bullock is the standout, but everyone, even Keanu Reeves, who's never been the strongest actor, but you put him in an action film and he tends to do something quite special. And a lot of that is because he does a lot of that physical stuff himself, and there are some scenes in this film where you can see that. He's been quite famous for doing that with the John Wick films more recently, but that adds something to an action film. It really does. When you feel like it's that person really doing that stuff, they're able to bring the camera in ways that you can't when you're trying to mask it because of a stunt double. Dennis Hopper is a fantastic villain. He's absolutely maniacal in this, but you get enough of a backstory for this guy to almost get on his side. Never completely, because with the despicable things that he does and the reaction that he has to the I guess the lack of value to human life, you can never really be on this guy's side. But you get the sense that in some way he's justified, in some way he's been screwed over by the system that maybe he was a part of, that he thought he was on the right side of. Jeff Daniels is also great in this. He plays Keanu Reeves' long-suffering partner. At one point, very early on in the film, Keanu Reeves' character shoots him in the leg in order to stop Hopper's character from getting away with what he's doing. And it's quite a funny moment, particularly the way that Daniels plays it, the reaction on his face, and he's like that throughout. They have this kind of banter where he's the wise one, so to speak. He's the more seasoned cop, and Reeves' character, he's the hothead. He's the one who jumps headfirst into a situation before thinking. And yes, that leads to success, but only because he's got his more intelligent, more thinking kind of partner to back him up. So once his partner is out of action at the start of the film due to that injury, he then is on his own, and how will he fare? So when he's trapped on that bus and Hopper's character is doing all this stuff, how is he going to overcome that now that he has to rely on his own brains, now that he doesn't have his partner there with him to back him up. Some of the action set pieces in this are absolutely nuts, like particularly the scene where the bus jumps across a gap in a bridge. Yeah, it's just, like I say, it's nuts. That pretty much says everything you need to know about what kind of film this is. But like I say, moments of heart. There's one moment when they hit this pram, you know, and just, I mean, I've seen it so many times, but even so, every time, because I'm there with Bullock's character, you know, she does such a good job kind of pulling us into her character. You feel her reactions every time, and she hits this pram, and it's that brief moment of your heart leaping out your chest. And then when it hits the deck, you realise that this woman is probably a homeless woman. She's collected a load of cans. She's just got a pram full of cans. And that sense of relief that you get on behalf of Bullock's character is just, yeah, it's a really good pick-me-up, it must be said. The film does have some pretty good shocks as well with regards to the characters. Like when Jeff Daniels' character cops it, you know, they think they've found the location of the bomber, and they go to his house. He goes there. He wants to be the one to kind of do the collar, I guess. And he goes in, and yeah, it's a trap. There's a bomb, and he gets blown up. And because that takes place so late in the film, you're kind of not expecting it. I mean, there's a whole slew of films during the 80s, action films, that were built around the concept of, you know, a cop losing their partner and they go after the guy who killed them. And I think of Black Rain and films like that. Black Rain is actually a pretty good film, but obviously by the time we get to Speed, that thing had become such a cliche, you know, the cop's partner gets killed. But it's usually done within the first act. That's usually the thing that spurs that guy on, that spurs the cop on. But because Jeff Daniels' character is taken out of action so early on in the film, he's kind of confined to a desk job, so to speak. You never feel like he's in danger of that happening. You feel more like he's going to be the one who at some point will come up with a critical piece of information and then get it to Reeves' character, helping him save the day, and that's not the case. So yeah, it still has quite a shock value to it, seeing him get killed. They do a really good job in this film as well of allowing you to identify with the passengers. You know, normally in this kind of movie, you know, like the action movie, where you can find maybe into a location or something, they'd make most of these characters pretty annoying, and so, some of them are, but in a human way, a very human and real kind of way. Like, I never want any of these people to die. I genuinely feel for their plight. I feel sorry that they're trapped on this bus with the potential of, you know, all getting annihilated. We just have this whole cast of characters, like this tourist played by the dude from Ferris Bueller. You know, just his reactions to things. He just doesn't think he should be there. Obviously, no one thinks they should be there, but it's just this moment when he's like, "I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here." Just that kind of reality setting in that actually he came to see the sights and he's getting more than he bargained for. You know, you got this one guy who has committed a crime, maybe. We never get to find out what that is, but when Keanu Reeves' character jumps on the bus, he thinks that he's there for him, you know, so he pulls a gun and he wants him to back off. And then you get the big builder guy who tries to be a hero, and you know, the woman who ends up going off the bus, she just feels like that neighbourly kind of middle-aged woman next door that you'd quite happily chat to. So all these characters, you know, they feel very real, and you can sympathise with them, and you're rooting for them. And as they band together throughout the film, you know, you see this kind of roller coaster of emotions as they go through things. So obviously fear at first sets in, and panic, and then, you know, kind of attacking each other, start blaming each other for things. But then they start kind of rooting for each other and joining together and helping Reeves' character until they become a team. And I love that. I love that journey. I love seeing that. I love that actually Reeves' character isn't the only one who gets to be a hero. I only really have one criticism about this film, literally one, because as far as I'm concerned, otherwise it's as perfect an action movie as you're going to find. That criticism is that there are times when it's pretty obvious the bus isn't going 50 miles an hour. Like there's times when it has to turn around a corner, and even though it's, you know, even though they're flooring it, even though they're pushing that bus beyond its limits, you can tell, you can tell there's no way that bus is going round that corner at 50 miles an hour. You see it on screen, that ain't 50. There is one moment, and again this is that same scene I was talking about with the bridge, where they do the bridge jump. There's a moment before that when they're speeding up to it, where you can just about tell that the camera footage has been sped up in order to give that effect that the bus is going at such a high speed. But beyond that, like I say, it's minimal stuff. You're talking like 2 little moments in the film maybe. This is about as perfect as an action film can be, as I've already said. I think it's brilliant action set pieces, a lot of heart, a lot of soul, really great characters that you can identify with, and I love it. I think it's perfection as far as action cinema goes. I give it a 5 out of 5. If you've not seen this, you need to check it out. If you're a fan of Die Hard and you've not seen Speed, get your ass on this film as soon as possible. If you have seen Speed, I want to know what you thought about it. So please comment below, let me know, and until next time, crack it.